Let's bring a guest up. We have Congressman Jamal Bowman. What's up, my brother?
What up? What up? How y'all
My
doing?
brother, how are you? How you doing today, man?
I'm well, man. How y'all doing? Good to be with you.
Always, always good to be seen. Even better to be heard.
Good, good. So yeah, United States Congressman Jamal Bowman, who's he's the congressman of our district where we live. And he's in a primary race that is coming up in a couple of weeks. So interesting times that we're living in as far as the United States government, fiscal responsibility, issues abroad, variety of different things happening. So political season, we like to talk to the people that are actually making laws. So the congressmen and women, they actually make laws. If you wasn't familiar with the political process. So okay. First and foremost, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Of course.
So okay, you're in a tight race right now. And let's just get right to it. I know we're gonna talk about a couple other things, but I want to talk about, what this political funding situation really is, and
Yeah.
who's really moving the needle. Because they put 30 million on you, right? Yeah,
nah,
they
nah,
put
that
30
is not.
million. They put
I
30
was, I
million.
was, I was taken aback by that. I was
They,
telling the guys right before the shows. They have an ad that's attacking Jamal Bowman. I'm like, that's a friend of the show.
so all right, they put 30 million on you. So what does this mean? Break this down in layman terms for the people to understand, how big money is really influencing elections.
No, absolutely, especially in congressional elections. So, one quick point of clarification: the election is not weeks away, it's actually days away. So, the first day of early voting is this Saturday. So, that's Saturday, June 15th, literally 6 days away. And so, we're treating the first day of early voting as election day. So please get out there and vote, everyone who's watching. So when you run for office at any level, you got to raise money to run your campaign. So that money goes towards paying staff. It goes towards getting flyers and palm cards, posters, banners, mailers to people's homes, advertisement. It goes to a variety of things. When you run for Congress, the most that someone can donate to your campaign is $3,300 for the primary and another $3,300 for the general if you win the primary. But there are organizations that work outside of your campaign that are called super PACs and C4s. Those C4s can raise an unlimited amount of money. They do not have to publicly disclose who gives them money, and then they can operate on the campaign's behalf and or give that money to super PACs, which operate on the campaign's behalf. So in my race, when you talk about that $30 million number, most of that is coming from the C4 and the super PAC that is being spent on behalf of the person who is running against me. That is not his campaign money. His campaign money can be anywhere from like a couple $1,000,000, most likely, right? Usually a couple $1,000,000. And he spends that for flyers and mailers and ads. But then if you have a C4 or a super PAC that is well endowed, they can spend money on his behalf, which is what's happening in this race. Most of that 30 million is happening from the super PAC side of it. And this is more money than they have ever spent in their history. And I'm speaking specifically about the group APAC.
So oh, wait, okay. So let's get straight to this point.
Yeah. Oh, I think you said they though. So
Well,
you clear.
APAC.
Yes.
Who is APAC for the audience, and
Mhm.
why would APAC spend 30 million allegedly? Why would APAC spend 30 million dollars to defeat Jamal Bowman?
Yes. So um, APAC stands for, and I want to get this right, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They are a one issue organization, Israel. They support the state of Israel. And their lobbying in Congress goes to ensure that Israel continues to receive $3.8 billion a year in military funding and whatever additional billions or money they need for whatever it is that they want to do. That's who AIPAC is. They are targeting me and spending so much money against me because I called for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza and because I'm calling out and fighting to end the genocide and the famine that is happening in Gaza. They are not used to members of Congress criticizing Israel or speaking up against AIPAC. Now that they have members of Congress doing that, they are targeting those members of Congress and targeting other people around the country. So they don't just fund congressional races, they fund state races, county races, local races, etc. They've been around for 60 years, advocating for Israel and Israel only. And they've pledged to spend $100 million this election cycle, with the majority of that going towards your boy, Congressman Bowman.
30% of what they're going to raise, they're willing to spend on you, which is, and I mean, when we talk about wealth, and we'll have a conversation about that, I'm sure, but we don't have super PACs, and that's something that we've had plenty of conversations about, even educating people on what they are, how to form them, and how to figure out what exactly they'll be for, right? We need to know the things that we want. When you hear those type of numbers, 30 million, which is a lot of money to be spending on capital, on a local, well, we could not a local election, but a regional election, right? Right. How do you combat that? Is it, hey, I need to raise more, we have to become strategic? Because I've seen their ads every morning. I see your ads too, right? I love like when it's like you're going back to the schools and education as part of the campaign. How do you combat that? Like, what's the strategy to run against somebody that seems to have capital that's almost pretty extensive? I wouldn't say unlimited, but very extensive.
Yeah, no. Just to give you some more context before I answer your question. So they spent 10 million on ads within a 4-week period, just a couple of weeks ago. That is more money than President Biden has spent on broadcasts all year. So literally within a 4-week period, they were trying to bombard people with the message that they wanted to send out about my record, which is complete misinformation and disinformation and propaganda, not accurate at all. But that gives you an idea. Comparing it to President Biden overall spending for the year, it's not even close. And so you can't compete with them dollar for dollar. But what you can do is you can have an incredible field operation and ground game that literally goes door to door. And so for us, we spend a lot of time and effort on our field operation. We spend money on field to make sure we are knocking doors in particular areas, but then we also have an incredible volunteer army of at least 1,000 volunteers who are making tens of thousands of calls and knocking tens of thousands of doors every few days. And so that's how you combat it. They got money, we got people. This is the many versus the money. And most of the district supports my policies as it relates to Gaza, for example. They support a permanent ceasefire. They support, me wanting to fight to bring that $3.8 billion back here to help people with, entrepreneurship opportunities, affordable housing, affordable childcare, fully funding schools, et cetera, et cetera. Most of the American people are with us. The challenge is they have all the money and they also have media infrastructure in place where they can, quickly pivot and weaponize something I said or did against us as well, which is part of what they're doing during this campaign.
With hindsight being 2020, do you regret making some of the statements that you did, and maybe that could have prevented the attack? Or do you feel as if no matter what was stated, they were going to attack you through media?
Yeah, no, I don't regret it at all. I'm not in Congress to be comfortable or to be quiet. I'm not in Congress to just go along and get along. If I'm not there fighting for justice, like racial justice, economic justice, a just foreign policy, then I'm not supposed to be there if I'm not there fighting for those things. So no, I don't regret it at all. And as a matter of fact, in my opinion, this is exactly what we needed to be doing at this time. this is an example of us carrying on the legacy of our ancestors who fought and died for everything from the end of slavery to the end of Jim Crow, to the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act. I mean, look at what happened during the 60s with so many martyrs, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and so many others. And so this is kind of my responsibility, I think, as, not just a Black man in Congress, but a certain type of Black consciousness in Congress. I'm supposed to be doing this. And I actually take it as a badge of honor that they're spending more money than they ever spent in history to get me out of office.